Friends, in times of COVID, cost, distress, and after, a little interstellar travel and fantasy will keep us in good humor. That's what I'll do this Saturday. Back to the Future, excellent adventure to more recent flicks like Arrival and Interstellar are all science fiction time travel films. Apart from being paradoxes, they are also confusing and fun with overactive imagination and temporal gymnastics at play. What is time travel? Is the theme for today's episode. We travel 1 year between birthdays, between festivals, at the same speed, 1 second per second. Is it possible to experience time passing at a different rate than 1 second per second? How much fun would it be to travel back in time and meet people and events of an elapsed time period, or travel forward in time and see events that are yet to unfold? Can a wormhole or the DeLorean do it for us? We use space telescopes to see stars and galaxies that are very, very far away. Actually, billions and trillions of kilometers away. It would take a very long time for the light from these galaxies to reach us. So what we see is what they looked like a long time ago. Can we travel faster than 1 second per second so we catch the stars and galaxies as they evolve? What is time? Albert Einstein, more than 100 years ago, said that time and space are linked together. He further postulated that in our universe, nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. Or the faster you travel, the slower you experience time. That is time dilation, a property of special relativity. He first realized that time is not a constant, as was believed then, but actually slows down as one moves faster through the space. There are scientific experiments to prove this. For example, if one were to use 2 clocks set to exactly the same time, one on Earth while the other in an airplane going in the same direction as Earth's rotation, and if the two were to become, or if the two were to be compared, after the airplane flies around the world, the clock on the fast-moving airplane would be slightly behind the clock on the ground. The theory is applied to the GPS satellites used to help us figure out how to get to new places or go around the city. Since the satellites orbit around Earth very quickly at about 14,000 kilometers per hour, the clocks on the satellites, slow down by a small fraction of a second. Since they also orbit Earth about 20,000 to 200 kilometers, 20,000 kilometers above the surface, where the gravity is much weaker than on the ground, their clocks are speeded up by a slightly larger fraction of a second. If this is not corrected, the GPS maps might think our home is nowhere near where it actually is. Time dilation was first seen in the movie Interstellar, when Matthew McConaughey and his crew land on a planet with an extreme gravitational field caused by a nearby black hole. This slows the time dramatically for the crew on the planet, making 1 hour on the surface equal to 7 years on the earth. When the crew returns back to Earth, Matthew McConaughey's daughter is an old woman, while he appears as he was when he left. So much for traveling faster to experience the slowing of time. The larger question, however, is can we travel faster than light? The Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata Purana have multiple such examples. King Kokodami and his daughter Revati traveled to different lokas or worlds in search of a suitable husband and returned to her in future time, a lapse of thousands of years, only to find that everything has changed. Similarly, King Muchukunda, ancestor of Sri Rama, was asked to help the deities of Indraloka in a war with the demons. He fought the war for a long time, and when it was time to return, the deities advised him he cannot go back to Earth because of time dilation. Even Tripura Rahasya, a book on Advaita Vedanta, discusses a chapter about time travel and cites several instances of people traveling to distant worlds and returning to future times. Even Greek mythology is full of such examples. Do they really have time machines? Traveling faster than light is more complicated than traveling faster than sound. An aircraft flying above the speed of sound, such as supersonic or hypersonic jet, doesn't change form, even under extreme temperature gradients. However, if an object attains the light speed, it will be converted to energy and hence destroyed. Comprehending its travel dynamics would be extremely complex. Since we cannot exceed the speed of light in time-space concept, why not change the time-space concept itself by wrapping or distorting it? Can we then create a time machine by, to travel hundreds of years into the past or maybe the future? Can we think beyond fantasy and seek some answers? Suppose we build a spaceship that harnesses something really powerful, like a bunch of super dense matter from a neutron star. This in a way will be able to wrap space, time, enough to briefly pull two distant points together, the way, that the edges of a bed sheet would come together if a heavy weight is dropped in the middle. Such wrap or wraps in space-time are wormholes. This is the fantasy that where it occurs naturally all the time in space. If only we can build such a spaceship, we can travel enormous distances extremely quickly. Would we really want to travel into the past? That's the million-dollar question. That might destroy the future, our future. What happens if one were to go back in time and kill one's grandfather before the father is conceived? How then is it that the person is still alive? You can fancy further. On the other side, to travel years into the future, we would either have to use intense gravitational acceleration caused by the black holes or go into speed at the speed of the light. Still, the realization would only be that our time has flown away. So enough of fantasies for now. With the technology at our command today, all that we can do is jump a few microseconds into the future. Maybe, friends, that also is the truth of the universe. For no one from the other world has ever come to invade us. Until that happens, we can travel by the good old transport systems that we have. If they reach us safe in time-space, we live for another day. If they don't, Well, we can meet in those other worlds. With that for you to reflect upon, I remain for today, this Saturday, with a promise to return back the next Saturday. And until then, thank you, Dhanyavad, and Namaskar.